Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and welcome back to some more StarCraft 2, A Legacy of the Void. Today I'm playing another live game for you, and this time around is going to be a Zerg versus Terran on the galactic processes. Now lately, I've been having a blast playing Zerg versus Terran. The reason for that is quite straightforward. I've been getting better at the Nurtio style. Now I have made dedicated videos to the style that Nurtio plays several times before already, and honestly, most of the Korean Zerg players have started taking, you know, at least cues from that style as well. It may very well be the case that Nurtio didn't come up with it, but either way, I've been calling it the Nurtio style, and the reason for it is that you simply just don't attack until you are nearly maxed out on a very powerful army. And I've been practicing that a lot. I've been making a lot of progress as far as the actual strategy goes, and I feel like I'm playing it at least reasonably well right now. My Zerg vs Terran win rate is currently at like anywhere between like, I think it's like 65 to 70-ish%. I haven't checked it as of late, but it's definitely one of my stronger matchups. It's actually my strongest matchup at this point in time besides Zerg vs Protoss. I didn't meet that Overlord. Already made one. Was a little bit early on that one. No big deal though. I think I should be alright here against the early game Reaper play that my opponent is undoubtedly be going for. So I got my two queens already morphing in. Actually, it's called Birthing Queen. I never realized that, but it's actually not morphing, it's Birth Queen. Someone pointed it out at some point in the comment section. I was like, whoa, what? Really? Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the two drones out of gas. I'm making two sets of Zerglings here as well to deal with the Reaper aggression that, generally speaking, is gonna come my way. There we go. Very unsurprising there. We'll just start running here immediately. No particular reason to take any risk. And, you know, if I can prevent losing any workers, that would be much appreciated. Obviously, losing workers is kind of game ending. Or it's not quite game ending, but it's a big deal. Generally speaking, if you can prevent losing anything whatsoever, that's a huge plus. And that's exactly what we just managed to achieve. I lost one Zergling, which is a little unfortunate, and I probably could have microed it a little bit better to lose absolutely nothing. But all things considered, I think we're going to be in an okay spot here, at least for the foreseeable future. Going to be allowed to drone up. I'll make one more Overlord. I already had one underway. A little bit late on that part. But there we go. Now, we don't take a third base. Oh man, he's actually going heavy into Reaper. Okay. Okay. Well, that requires a bit of a change of pace here. Because we have to continue on the production here of the queens. I'm gonna have to get at least a whole bunch of them. I don't know exactly how committed he is going to be. There's actually a fourth one that did just get added on as well. So this is actually pretty important to keep in mind. Because there's a big chance he is gonna be able to overwhelm me. As many of you are aware, Reapers are pretty powerful, and while I don't know how many he's going to be making, I'd rather not get too risky either. Okay, we'll leave these guys on the high ground, and I think all things considered, it should be a pretty reasonable setup for us right now. Gotta make sure that obviously these queens and jacks, or these queen and jacks, are continued onwards. And I do want to get a third base here as well as the Roach Warren. So we're just trying to continue the strategy here that I set out to do earlier. I just don't want to get, you know, caught off guard if I can at all prevent that. We're gonna have to do some dancing here. Looks like I'm the better dancing queen thus far though. Put the drones back into the gas. And as long as I get some reasonable creep spread over at the third, generally speaking, we're gonna be okay. Now, he's being real cheeky now, which could be a pain, but I think once my roaches come out, we're gonna be able to shoot this away with relative ease. And I really do want to start droning soon, right? What he is doing, obviously, is gonna cost into the production, right? He's not gonna be able to produce nearly as much as they normally are able to at this point in the game. So, I want to make sure that, obviously, I deal with any kind of potential harass that he's going for in the near future as well. But I know that I don't really need to worry about that one too much, as there's only so much he can really truly make off of these, you know, couple of barracks that he has. I mean, he's committing a lot into an army that is going to be helpful for, you know, a little while longer. But very soon, it's going to start falling off. So, as long as I have a handful of links ready to run around, as well as you know, economy and larvae and whatnot to support an army, generally speaking, I think I'm gonna be okay. So I need to be on top of my Queen and Jacks. Really important. Wow, he's actually trapping himself. I don't think he can jump up there. Very good. Alright, full on drones now. Full on drones now. Definitely did lose a little bit of economy because of all that shenanigans, but all things considered, obviously, once again, he's cutting into his own production significantly as well. Just to be safe, I'll go ahead and get my my infestation pit right now, and before we really start making any army, and we know that he's got a bunch of this, but just before we start making any army, I'm gonna start making sure that I got that third base saturated as well. I'm going for the Baneling nest here, which is not very standard, but I noticed the Korean players do it a lot. So, since the Korean players do it a lot, generally speaking, that's going to be an indication that it's worth giving a try at least. And I want to keep an eye out on where the opponent's army is located. So notice that overlord placement right now? It's absolutely huge. As we can perfectly see where my opponent is currently located, right? Very, very helpful. I'm also going to be starting up the fort base. As well as the roach speed, obviously. Forgot about that one almost. I'd rather not forget that. Really important upgrade. And I need to make sure that obviously my creep spread is going to be on point as well. There we go. Now that I got the third base saturated, I think now is the time for me to start making army again. Okay. Need to keep my creep spread going. Creep spread is truly super important. Gonna be starting up the hive here as well. I'll knock down these rocks while I'm at it. And just because I can, I have a tendency to spend all my gas. I'll morph in some Banes here for safety a little beforehand. A little earlier than I absolutely need to. But I think this is going to be fine. Alright, so he's going for some drop play, unsurprisingly. Drop play obviously extremely common. In particular against the style that I'm playing. Now, this is where things become a little more difficult. So we need to defend at several locations at once. So what I'm going to do is just split up my army here by default. I don't need everything in one place, okay? There's absolutely no reason to have all of my army in one location. That's just gonna, like, increase the risk of me, you know, getting taken out here at random. Oh well, hey, that you know, is one way to clean up a drop, I suppose. So, I keep on producing army here as well. But ideally, I start drawing up that base a little bit more. Now, he may be, you know, doing some cheeky moves here. Gotta be able to send some of my roaches over. But now that Hive is done, I can finally start up my infestation pit. And that's the real unit that we want to try and get here. Okay. Gotta be starting up my upgrades. Very good. And once my ultras come out, we're gonna be in a very nice spot. Now, I had army over there. Sadly, I didn't micro it perfectly. But it's just a matter of holding on here. As long as I don't take any huge losses, it's fine for us. Okay. Got my ultras on the way. Once again, right? A lot of multi-pronged aggression. And I haven't really lost too many things. I can definitely start up some more static defense. I did lose a bunch of the workers here in the third. Or in the natural, rather. That's kind of a big deal. But the first ultras are out. The first Ultralisks are out. And that's exactly what we were looking for. Apparently he has decided that he wants to start moving across the map here. Well, that's okay by me. If he's gonna use a huge stim like that, generally speaking, we're gonna be okay. I do need some more Banes here, though. I don't actually have all that much of an army here. I may actually end up losing this base. That would suck. Okay. Keep walking, Ultras. Don't stand in the Liberator range. Very good. I am taking care of most of the army that he has. And that's fine. I think I'm gonna have to spend some of that gas that I have, though, because it's kind of ludicrous at this point. Oh, there's a Widow Mine? I didn't know about the Widow Mine. Okay. Okay. Whew. At least we got it cleaned up there eventually, but we lost a lot of our income. I think I may have played a little too greedy here, all in all. And you know what? I think we have to switch into something called Infestor. Obviously, Infestors have a ton of potential, in particular in these kind of scenarios. We gotta be careful, though, because we know that our opponent doesn't have a fort, right? If he doesn't have a fort, that's a huge indication that this is practically... Well, he's taking it right now, but that was practically, you know, an all-in on his end. So, ideally, I want to move out across the map very shortly and start doing at least a little bit of damage. And you know what? I'm just gonna start moving right now. Thing is, I need to get another base. I need to get an army going here. Okay. I need to get either a base going or an army, and either of those are gonna be pretty difficult. I definitely got a little too greedy here early on into the game, and that does cause me to be in a relatively big deficit. We can have a look at the replay and see exactly what caused me to be behind, right? I don't really have a chance to switch into any kind of... Yeah, I guess I can get it, but I don't really have a chance here to switch into any kind of major army changes either. Ideally, we get at least a couple of Corruptor. Oh no, that's fine. No, dudes! The dudes are killing my dudes! Okay. Gotta get a fungal. And sadly, I'm afraid that this is just going to be barely too much for my opponent. He managed to secure a very nice early game economy, but I wonder whether or not I overreacted to the Reaper shenanigans that he threw at me. I knew that he was getting a third, right? I saw that he made a, you know, an expansion at the very least in his natural, and I knew that he had an army there, but I think I may have overreacted to the army that he had. Now, this may not look like it's game over yet, but slowly but surely he's getting that lead, right? He's got another base up on me right now. And I think at this point in the game, it's practically game over. Unless I get a huge detonation with the army that I've got left over. I don't really want to preemptively GG out of the game, but I'm pretty sure that at this point in the game, I did not get the pneumatized carapace. Or what's it called? The upgrade right here for the infestor. Either way, I'm pretty sure that this is not going to be something I can take anymore. Got some decent connections. And while I'm technically not dead yet, it's not very, you know, not very amazing. He was going heavily all in though, so after defending initially, I thought I would be okay. Just because I knew that he didn't have very much left over, you know? I knew that he didn't really have a whole big army left over. But because he lost his third base. Or he didn't have a fourth base. So that sort of was an indication that at the very least I was in an okay spot. But I think I may have gotten a little too aggressive there as well. Okay. We got a couple more Corruptor out right now. But I still don't have an expansion, right? And that's the thing. That's the thing that's really holding me back here. And while we're definitely getting some reasonable hits in, slowly but surely he's advancing on me. I mean, I have barely any economy left over. He's finally arrived at my only mining base at this point. And while I'm valiantly trying to hold on, I'm afraid that it's best if he just GG very, very shortly. I'm waiting for him to make his move, right? I anticipated him to already have that move done. So I could use that to our advantage, but... Okay. Apparently he's decided to go Vikings. But at this point in the game, he's just simply going to have far too much stuff. And I am going to be forced to GG out. Alrighty, so here we are in the replay of the game. Now what I want to try and figure out is where I fell behind economically speaking. Because honestly, I don't think I took too much damage from the drop harass that he was going for. But I may have very well put myself behind initially when I made all of the Zerglings to defend against the Reaper aggression. I've seen several kinds of Reaper aggression, and generally speaking, if they make more than, say, 2 Reapers, they're just basically going all in. I mean, generally speaking, they just skip out the natural and go completely all in. And that's what I anticipated him to go for in this match as well. But I had already scouted that he made a natural, so it didn't really add up very well in my mind. So I did start making a lot more units and queens and Zerglings and whatnot than I normally make. So notice, right now in the game, I am already going to be at least evened up in the work account. Now, you don't really want to be there because obviously mules are really good, and therefore my opponent is going to be getting much more income very shortly once that production really starts kicking in. And this is where I make another round of 12 Zerglings just in case, right? Now, all things considered, at this point in the match, I think I'm still in an okay spot. You can see though, worker-wise, I have definitely started falling behind. And I should have been droning up much more greedily. So once again, look, I make a big round of work, or a big round of units when I clearly just warded away all of the aggression. And I think that's what really put me behind, because at that point in the match, even though it lasts for another, like, you know, 11 minutes, at that point in the match, I was already very far behind. I mean, I'm trying to catch back up in the worker count, and eventually, I'm going to, at the very least, even it up and be ahead, right? But I've already given away a huge chunk of the economy that I could have potentially had, and while the game goes on for a little while longer, generally speaking, you always want to be ahead as far as the worker count goes. I mean, notice the amount of income he's getting just from mules, right? And if you are even economy against a Terran player, you better get a very good engagement in, because otherwise you're just simply gonna get overrun, and that's pretty much exactly what happened this match. I mean, obviously he did kill a couple of workers, or at the very least I'm assuming he did kill at least a few. I'm trying my very best to hold on here. Normally losing a few is fine, because you're gonna be, you know, you're gonna have way more workers than they do anyway. But in this particular instance, because I was already behind in that worker count earlier on into the match, you can see the supply count just going heavily in his favor. And that's the reason why we lost. So long story short, I overreacted to the Reapers that were happening in this game. And because of that fact, I wasn't really allowed to deal with the aggression that he was following it up with in the middle part of the game. Yes, I had Ultralisk, yes, I had a sizable army, but no, it just simply wasn't enough because I didn't have the economy to support anymore. So, minor mistake by me. At the very least, I've learned now that if there is a push coming from my Terran opponent that is gonna have more than, like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 Reapers in there, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's all in, but it's definitely also an option that he could be going for some pressure, and therefore I need to be scouting whether or not he has a natural, and in this case he did. Once he does, I need to start droning up earlier than I did in this match. Either way, even though it's a loss, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you haven't already, hit that like button. If you want to see more content like this, do make sure you hit that subscribe button, because, hey, I got a lot to learn as well, and there's definitely plenty of mistakes that I need to be overcoming as well when playing the StarCrafts. But other than that, I want to thank you all for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile, alright? And I will see you all in the next one.